And good morning. I want to welcome you. It's November the 5th, and it is time for the monthly Plan, Do, Track, or Coaching Business Builder Workbook and Planner Community Call. I am Jennifer Britton. I'm the author of several books, including my two most recent, The Coaching Business Builder, which came out in the summer of 2018, and the soon-to-be released Plan, Do, Track. Over the last, 3 decades, I've been heavily involved in the area of project management and very much passionate about helping others get organized and also get into their business results. So today is one of many of a monthly series of calls that I host. It's open to anyone, and also it's available to you on demand. So today's topic as we step into November is 2019 planning already. And yes, today's focus is planning for the new year. I'm going to be sharing with you a number of tools from the Coaching Business Builder that you're soon going to see as a remote professional if you are interested in that in the Plan, Do, Track series. Both books take you through a 5-section focus on business and remote and virtual team fundamentals, business solopreneur or business success primer, a little bit into marketing essentials, the ecosystem, and then it is also a 12-month undated planner. I've got mine on my desk because I've been working with it already this morning as we continue to move through the year, filling in different areas. And so I've been hosting a series of month-end planning calls in addition to these where we've been working to develop real-time plans, taking stock of where things are at. And if you are on Instagram, I hope that you will join me on a 90 Days Plan, Do, Track series. So welcome. I would like you to be thinking about what are the most important goals for you this year. We've got a little less than 2 months left. What are the things that you want to be focusing on? And in this next 30 minutes, want to go through with you an actual real-time planning session. So grab some pens. If you have your planner, grab that, grab your other planners as well, and let's get going. As I mentioned a few minutes ago, I've been doing a 90-day series on Instagram. In October, I set up the Coaching Biz Builder feed. Please connect with me there, but every day I'm offering a different question to get you thinking about it. And as I was sharing a few months ago, or a few weeks ago actually, just, cumulatively, these questions can really add up to some new insights. So do connect on Instagram, jen.britton and or Coaching Biz Builder. And it's over at Coaching Biz Builder that you'll find the 90 Days Plan, Do, Track. If you are interested in this and really in planning for your business, do sign up. There is a new Plan, Do, Track monthly, semi-monthly newsletter. It goes out every 2 months. I've done a quick one-pager to help you on a weekly basis for your business. So it was originally called the Fall Sweep for your business. Now it's a weekly sweep for your business. Get you thinking about what you can do to plan, do, and track around different areas from business to the environment to yourself. And this could be a great addition for you. Daily steps and consistent action equals momentum. And that's very much how so many of us build our own businesses. As you know, I'm stepping into year 15 of the business. A lot of my creative projects I fit around the margin. This month, it's November, it's National Novel Writing Month. I always use it as a springboard for my own writing. And coming out of this month will be a couple of supplementary resources for coaches who want to actually use this as a guide for the coaches you support, the business owners you support, or maybe you're part of a coach training school. So more resources coming around with that. My question for you today is, where do you want to be at the end of 2019? I want to take you through some micro pieces of what we're covering in the Plan, Do, Track virtual retreats. These are a series of virtual retreats I started hosting this fall. They will continue into 2019. And already people are saying they love them. You have the option of either focusing on planning, doing, and tracking some of your key projects, or as we move into the end of the year, you can also have an annual focus. So I'm going to be quiet for a minute. I'd like you to just note and think forward, what would you like to do, or where do you want to be at the end of 2019? Take a moment to just jot that down. The power of vision is immense. And as Seneca wrote, if a man does not know where he is aiming for, he will not get there. That is that's not a paradigm. That's just a way of really, in a non-gender inclusive way to say we really want to have a specific endpoint in mind. Visions are aspirational, and many of you would know as coaches, we don't want to hold on to our visions too tightly, but today really is getting you to think about not only your vision, but also your goals. As you think about 2018, what are the goals you have set out for yourself? What is your mission? For me, one of my missions in 2019, it's twofold actually. I want to be continuing to help teams, but I also really want to provide more resourcing and support for two communities. Number one, for coaches. That will be a continued extension of my business. My mission is every year to support at least 10 to 20,000 coaches through my writing, through my direct programs, and through my speaking. I would say in 2018, I've excelled beyond that. It was a goal that I thought was quite lofty at the beginning of the year. I did present on WBEX with the new book. It's outselling actually my last book, 5 to 1. So I do know that for that mission, for this part of the business, very much on task with that as long as we continue focusing on what's important there. The other group of people that I love to work with, of course, are virtual and remote professionals. And many of you will be hearing me talk more and more about Plan, Do, Track. So what I've done actually is rework the Coaching Business Builder and put it into a format for virtual and remote professionals. Some of you may know that I was a virtual and remote professional for many, many years throughout the 90s and early into the 2000s. Very passionate about helping the increasing number of leaders and team members excel in that event. So I do want to support over 100,000 virtual professionals, leaders, and teams in 2019. And I have a whole set of goals around that, including my book, including other supports, virtually and in person for teams. So just wanted to share that with you. I think we want to be clear with our visions, clear with our missions, because they do inform our goals. As you look at your vision for next year, what's your mission? How many people do you want to outreach to? How many people do you want to support in your work? I'd like you to take just a few seconds right now to note that down. And while you're on this, also be thinking about some of the goals, the specific goals that are going to support you to get there. Take 30 seconds. Now, in the Coaching Business Builder, I really want to always help you drill down into thinking about the fundamentals of your business. Who is there to support you? Who's your team? What do you need to delegate? How will you get there? You'll notice that section 3 is a solopreneur primer, really getting you to think about marketing vehicles and also about the success strategies that are going to move you from A to B to C. It's really key as we think about our vision to arc out and really write things down around our vision. So in the annual section of the planner, you've got a number of great planning tools that you can use. Again, if it's 2019, you can start this. If it's 2020, you can also do it. I would guess, knowing how many of my audios go, you could be finding this 10 years from now. Your annual vision is your annual vision. And I'll invite you to turn to page number 131 of the Coaching Business Builder. If you're looking at Plan, Do, Track, you'll also find this around page 130, 133 in your workbook. And it invites you to think about your financial goals, your client goals, your product and program goals, any lifestyle and health goals you have, marketing goals, project goals, and other. Our visions need to get knocked down into bite-sized pieces. And that's a pretty strong word, knocked down into bite-sized pieces. We do need to start carving them up. And if we're not clear on what those goals are, it can be like letting go of a whole quiver of arrows. So we do want to make sure that we are clear with those goals. I'd invite you after today's call, or if you're listening into the recording, to pause this, to get granular and to also be stretching. I shared that vision that I had at the start of the year of working with 10,000 coaches, which I thought was really big, but I didn't know at the end of last year that I'd be presenting to WBEX. We had several hundred people on the phone that day, I think 700 in my session. And as I've traveled out to different chapters, West Coast, East Coast this year, it's been really exciting to see how conversations are happening all the time within the coaching community that I get to be part of, either directing, facilitating, or inputting the structure around. In about a week, I'll be doing a session that's being hosted by ICF Saskatchewan, further on this topic of vision. So perhaps you'll join us for that, for a real-time working session. As you think about your 2019 goals, I'd also invite you to think about what your outreach will entail. And this continues to vary, from Facebook Live to pre-recorded videos, to looking at doing articles or speaking or blogging. What's working for you? I think this year, certainly I've continued to focus on articles. You may want to check out many of my guest articles over at Coaching Tools Company. I speak regularly to ICF chapters, host these calls, which then get listened to in an on-demand format. I've also been really intentional with the amount of time I've spent on social media. While many of you enjoy Facebook Live, that's not an ecosystem I have enough time to really support. So I've changed my focus to be more bite-sized over at Instagram. And what's key is we need to know where our clients are and what they're looking for and how that matches up. In terms of getting active and putting things out, we do also want to have a plan. Many of you know and would have heard me speak on earlier calls about the importance of having a plan with content. And there's a couple of tools that will support you, again, in the Coaching Business Builder. Also in the back section of this is a series of content tools. So as many of you know, I'm a content creator, I'm an author, I'm a blogger. Haven't done a lot around podcasting, but certainly content development is content development, and we want to have a plan. And over here on page 245, you've got a content planner. As you can see, mine is not filled out. I use a different structure at present, but I'll be putting that into this format here. Having that high level of the annual overview of where you want to go with your content is really key. I just started doing this a couple years ago, and this year I found it was so invaluable to go look at my content plan, say, okay, this month the focus is on planning. And I jotted down a couple of notes around what it could look like. I'm actually just going to grab that just to give you an idea of yet another content planner. So you can work very high level, or you may get more granular. And as several of you know, I write in a couple of different areas. I don't just write in the area of group and team coaching. I also write in the area of team development, virtual facilitation, and also leadership. So this is my content planner. You can see that it's well worn, certainly at this time of year. Lots of additional scribbles. This I actually created on a train ride. I had about an hour to just go through and list out what my different plans were. I then further took those notes, put them in this format. This was the first year I'd actually done a content calendar like this. You'll notice on some of the area, I've got additional blog post ideas. It's been really critical in helping me over the hump of getting content written. So my question to you is, as you think about your vision, what is the content that's going to help you move forward with your plans? Take a couple of minutes to pause this recording. If you have a copy of the Coaching Business Builder, do turn to page 245 and highlight what your annual plan is going to be. I'm going to keep moving because we can have lots of things on our to-do list. And I think certainly as coaches, we want to get very specific around ideas and things that leverage our strengths and match up with what our clients want. As many of you know, for many years, I've been talking about the sweet spot in business. The sweet spot being that place where we can intersect what we're good at, what we're passionate about, and what our clients want. If you have a copy of From One to Many, Best Practices for Team and Group Coaching, you can check out the digital supplement to that book. And those are found actually over at FromOneToMany.com. It reads from12many.com. And it's in the downloads section where you can just click onto the downloads page, use code 4411, and you'll find actually 3 chapters there. One on case studies for group coaching, one on case studies for team coaching, and a final one, which is all about marketing. In that marketing chapter, you will find some resourcing around this notion of to-dos, but also in terms of the sweet spot. So if you're journaling, take a note of like, what are you great at? What are you passionate about? And what your clients want? That sweet spot can give us such great information. Now, back to the planner itself, I did not include the sweet spot exercise. I sort of wish I had, but what I did include are a lot of monthly sets of pages for you to do your planning, your scheduling, and also monthly reflections, or what I like to call taking stock monthly reflections. So these are things I use in my own business, and I think at this time of year, it's really critical that we actually pull on the brakes to take stock of what's worked and what hasn't. I know this year it's going to be a lot easier for me to look at the last half of the year when I started using the Coaching Business Builder frameworks. Every month I host a month-end reflection hour, and that is held usually the last day of the month, early morning, Toronto time, but it is an hour to reflect on your achievements, your relationships, key metrics, looking at projects, looking at ahead to what the next month is. And that's been really key for me to note the achievements. I think many times we're running so fast, we don't notice what we've actually done in any given month. And just as you can see with all this scrunchy scrawl here, certainly throughout the year, I've been pushing it. I think I've learned that it is important to keep moving things forward as much as you have passion for them. That's one of my key learnings this year, and I'm curious for you to think about what is your learning this year. I'd also like to give you a moment right now to think about what's worked. If you haven't started developing the practice of thinking about your working world in chunks, what has worked for you in your business this year? And finally, what do you want to do more of in the upcoming year? I'd like to give you just 2 minutes right now of quiet time. We so rarely have quiet time in our world. Please take notes for yourself, what you've learned this year, what has worked, and what do you want to do more of in 2019. Now, these short sound bites cannot replace the longer term, but the beauty of today's technology is you can pause, you can press pause, and also further reflect on your learning, what's worked, and what you want to do more of. Part of what is key in today's business context is also tracking. Things are changing so quickly that it's hard for us to have data that's reliable. And again, we can see some quick inflection points as we look out through our business. Several readers have indicated they love the trackers in the Coaching Business Builder. So there's two types of trackers. Number one, monthly content tracking. And since January 1st of 2014, I've been on a bit of an experiment and now actually a way of working. In the end of 2013, I went and I looked, here's the backstory. I went and I looked at how many site visits potentialsrealized.com, my main site, was getting. I knew I was getting a lot of traffic through Group Coaching Essentials, but not so much on Potentials Realized. And as I started looking at the data for late 2013, I realized I was only getting about 80 hits a day. That wasn't a lot. And I thought, well, what is something that I can do to increase my web presence? I didn't want to pay a lot of money, but I also wanted to start doing a lot more writing in the area of leadership and teamwork. Not so much on coaching, but on leadership and teamwork. And so on January 1st, 2014, I launched the Teams 365 blog. We have just passed 1,700 posts in the end of year 5 of daily blogging. Well, that's been a huge commitment. It's been great learning. It fed into Effective Virtual Conversations, which of course I published last year. And I have another manuscript that is still in the back wings for 2019 publication for virtual and remote team leaders. How I've been able to do that with all of the other work that I do, group programs, team programs, program design, is working in these margins that I really like to be talking about more and more these days. I must find who came up with that term because it's not mine, working within the margins of our life. But part of what is something that I think we see in a lot of our businesses is that it's daily action. And this is why the premise of Coaching Business Builder is daily action plus momentum equals results. And really, we do want to do things. So on a monthly basis, you're invited to either track or schedule using these monthly content trackers. What you can be doing is every day note out what content you're using. If you're pushing it out to different feeds, perhaps Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, you can note that down. It's a great Friday or Sunday activity. And why I say that is because planning can take a lot of time, or like anything else in our business, we can create small windows. Every Sunday, I like to grab a few minutes to reflect on the week, jot down notes. I have to say, since doing this, using the Coaching Business Builder since the summer, I have not been doing it on a daily basis because I just don't have time. But on a weekend, whether it's a Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I can quickly go back and look at what's been done, take note of some of these trackers. It is key to capture your ideas, and the notion of a tracker is critical. Looking at it short term, that's great. Looking at it longer term, it can be very, very powerful. So in starting my own monthly daily trackers, and again, you can see them scattered throughout, there's 12 of them. You get to choose what you want to track. And I'll just go to, for example, you'll see September's because it's nicely filled out. Okay, so there's September. I track things like when revenue is coming in the door, Instagram, promotion, when I'm writing on my blog, on my Teams 365 blog, looking at calls, looking at design, looking at speaking, looking at swimming, and also looking at walking. And part of what I have found very important is that in my business needs to sustain me. As I learned a year ago summer, as I went in for some major surgery, I was really faced with what happens if something happens to me. And at that point, as I successfully, thank goodness, went through surgery, recognized that it was really important for me to also be putting more attention around my own health issues. So I track things like, how much am I walking? When am I swimming? Even though the snow is starting to fall outside my window, most weeks you will find me at lunchtime in the pool. And so capture your ideas, capture what's important, and notice what is key. Now, if you've enjoyed this, you may be interested in joining me either for a planning hack or a longer program. As I mentioned, I do 4-hour plan, do, track virtual retreats. 2 hours is dedicated to your planning, 2 hours to your action. What people have found this fall is that it's a really important window to start tackling important projects. Maybe you want to get blog posts done. Maybe you want to get other things done. This is different than just a get it done. There's actually a format. There are tools provided to you to start planning around your projects. For many, many years, as a former program director and project manager, projects were my world. Whether it was helping countries rebuild post-hurricane, post-volcano, or whether it was looking at how do we redefine our educational sector in parts of the world, projects need attention and they need planning. To just do it willy-nilly is not going to work, especially with larger projects. So the planning hacks, and specifically the plan, do, track planning sessions, are guided. We meet for 4 hours, meeting at the top of every hour, and there are facilitated exercises for you to go through. There's quite a few coming up because we're moving into the annual year-end edition, and last week did the first of these, and people really enjoyed it. So more coming up Saturday, November 17th from 10 to 2 p.m. Eastern. Weekday dates, November 28th, December 5th, and also the 20th. And of course, I'm now holding the month-end planning sessions. They run for an hour the last day of the month. 90 Days Plan, Do, Track, of course, will continue into the new month. And also, I've been enjoying a lot of people joining us at the Coaching Biz Growth Lab. If you are dedicated to moving the needle on your business, join us at the Coaching Biz Growth Lab. It's been in existence since April of this year. We meet the first and third Fridays of every month from 3 to 4 p.m., giving you an opportunity to really be focusing in on what's important on your business, to be in conversation and community with others, and to have a little bit of learning around key things like Instagram, or looking at your values, or debunking and debriefing some of the belief systems that are holding you back. Part training, a lot of coaching, especially as it is a small group. As many of you know, my work, small is beautiful. We're not talking 50 people in the Growth Lab. We're talking a couple handfuls of people in the Growth Lab, and I hope to keep it that way, at least for our live calls. So I'm Jen Britton. I hope that you will join me as you carve out your 2019 story. I hope that you will think about, this is the year that I will, ... What do you want to put in your 2019 story? I'm going to give you another 30 seconds just to jot that down for yourself. If there were 5 things that you want to include in your 2019 story, what are they? And I'm going to put down mine as well. What will your 2019 story include? So I'm going to just share mine. My 2019 story, aspirationally, I hope will include some bestsellers, leverage around all areas of my business, work with a great team, work with great programs, $1 million revenue, and a number of new publications. That's really been a key part of my business. So what's your 2019 story? Share it with us over at hashtag 90 Days Plan, Do, Track. You need a team around you, and I hope that you will create a team that is there to support you through the good, the bad, the ugly. We do so much as coaches solo. Who can be there to support you, to guide you, to help replenish you? And I think part of that is a community. So I've talked a little bit about the communities that I'm going to be continuing to host. I would say stay tuned this month. There will be some specials for Black Friday around the annual planning programs. I hope that 2019 will be your year to grow your business. It's exciting, it's challenging, it doesn't have to all happen at once. Again, lots of different resources, from the Coaching Biz Growth Lab to the Learning Lab and Design Studio to the Coaching Business Builder, and very soon we'll have Plan, Do, Track up there as another resource. I'm excited to see it selling, outpacing 5-to-1 copies. And as more and more people are using it, starting to hear the successes that people are having. We can grow our businesses in a way that works for us. We should be growing businesses in a way that works for us. I hope that today you've taken some time to really stop and pause, so that as you have time, you can be looking elsewhere in your business, whether it's to the fundamentals or the primes, whether it's into marketing essentials or into the planner. 2019 is out on the horizon. Anything is possible. I do hope that we will stay connected. Please stay tuned over at Coaching Biz Builder on Instagram. Check out the videos. These are always uploaded over at Effective Group Coach. And you can check out the business offerings over at coachingbizgrowthlab.com and Coaching Business Builder. Well, another month is done. I will be doing one more call for the month of December for this series of programs. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to staying in touch. 90 days, Plan, Do, Track. See you online. Take care. Bye-bye.